hurt in sliding practice?
No, but you knew that beforehand. Yeah, we want to try to cover everything.
Yeah.
How does the turf play differently? What did you notice off that?
Well, we've played over the years. Occasionally it's becoming a little more common to play on the field turf, and in my opinion, the ground balls are a little slower. They certainly bounce true. But one of the things that you saw at the end of practice that you slide a little further, and certainly you don't want to hit a double and slide past the base or steal a base and slide past it. So I want to make sure that the guys that have never played on it, we're conscious of it. But besides that, it'll be just like anything else we play on.
Like, does the personality of this team, that they're so loose, they kind of take things as they come, help to not get overwhelmed by any one particular situation at the moment at all?
I think so. You've watched us all year. We've been pretty consistent, and I think that's the reason that we're at where we're at is because we have been so consistent. There hasn't been a lot of peaks and valleys and hot streaks and slumps. This team's been able to handle the bad stuff that this game and our conference deals you week in and week out, and so you hope that doing that the entire season, that when you get to this point, that pays off.
We hear so much about ULL's offense. So what do you see in their pitching?
Well, I think that's one of the misleading things. I mean, obviously, statistically, offensively, the numbers are off the charts, with batting average and slugging percentage and home runs. But the thing that makes their offense, I think, special is they do it all. They run, they bunt. But when you look at the entire team, a very good staff, a very good starting staff, a deep bullpen, and a defense that catches it at .978, which is remarkable. And so I think probably a pitching staff and a defense that's very underrated.
You never shy away from talk of Omaha. Why is that?
Because that's the goal. I mean, that's what I think the goal is for every program. I mean, you start the season way back in August, and I think most programs, we're not alone. That most programs, you want to end up in the Final Eight of college baseball in Omaha, Nebraska, and playing for a national championship.
The rested bullpen, how does that help y'all out?
Say that again? Having
the rested bullpen, having Laxer hasn't thrown some of these other guys, how much does that help y'all out?
Well, I mean, I think when you get to this point, it's you're starting a new tournament, and regardless if you tax the bullpen the weekend before, I think when you're a week later, everybody gets to rest. I mean, so even guys like Scott Weathersby that had the longest stint maybe of the year, he's ready to go for tomorrow. So obviously we have a lot of confidence, and that's one of the things that I said at the end of last weekend that it's kind of been the difference for us. So we've been so consistent, but one of the things that's come together the last 4 weeks of the season and in postseason is the bullpen's been so consistent, and maybe because we haven't relied on just one guy or two guys, we've relied on a lot of guys from Laxer and Short, as you mentioned, but Greenwood, Massey, Weathersby. It's been a handful of guys. It seems like each game there's a different star of the bullpen.
Coach, Tony has talked about kind of how similar these two teams are. Is that an assessment you'd agree with?
Yeah, I think probably us similar to them. That I think when you talk about first, Ole Miss, you talk about the offense. We led the Southeastern Conference in batting average, and a team that's even playing on a park that's not conducive to the home runs. We hit our share, but we steal some bases. We can bunt a little bit. We can do some things, but again, probably like I just said in a prior question, that probably the pitching staff and the defense is probably a little underrated. So, similar to them. Maybe not as good at numbers, though.
With you and Tony both having coached at McNeese, what's the relationship like there with you guys?
Well, probably, a little more contact, back 14, 15 years ago when I was at McNeese and we were playing each other home and home every year. I've spoken to him a couple. I think the last time I talked to Tony, matter of fact, was about his son, making sure that he was going to recruit him. So if not, we were going to recruit him. But he assured me that he would end up here. But he's a great guy, great coach. Did a terrific job at McNeese, obviously, and a tremendous job here at Louisiana Lafayette.
Seems like the draft's gone pretty well for you guys so far, at least with your recruits.
It's tough for me to speak. I don't really know, since we've been out here.
Forbes and Griffin, but nobody else yet.
Okay. So, it's going well. Thanks.
Is it a tough week for the guys here that are eligible to go in the draft, or is that something that varies player by player?
I think it's tough, and it's but I don't know what the right answer is. If you ask me, okay, it's bad timing. When would you put it? I mean, at least there's only 16 teams playing right now, and years ago, used to be during the College World Series. I don't know if that's better because now you're at the final part of the season. So I don't know what's better. I just know that it takes a special kid, and a kid that's really locked into the moment, and a selfless kid, which you hope that those are the kids that are on your team. That it's a goal obviously for all kids to play professional baseball. But I read a quote from Tony, matter of fact, earlier. That said that they have the rest of their life to play professionally. They only have 3 days to get to Omaha. And, I don't think you can put it in any better words. It's really true. I really feel for all the kids, even the kids that will make it to the major leagues, this will be the pinnacle of their baseball career. Getting to the College World Series. So you really want to embrace this weekend.